welcome to Hannah's vlog.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special guest with me, Jessie. She's my cousin. September is a month for dementia, and we're creating a video here to raise awareness for dementia.
Unfortunately, our family is affected by dementia. Our nana had it, and my mum, who is Hannah's auntie, currently has it, as well as our uncle. He is affected as well, and therefore we're creating this video to spread awareness of dementia and give you tips and tricks on how to battle through a journey living with dementia.
Here we go! So Jess, can you give us a definition for dementia?
The textbook definition of what dementia is a chronic or persistent disorder of the mental processes.
So imagine the brain is like an orange,
and each segment of the orange falls off. So it's almost like a cloud that goes over your brain until your brain can no longer function.
So 7 out of 10 Australians are affected by dementia.
And over 400,000 people living in Australia are currently living with the disease.
So Jess, can you tell me some signs before being diagnosed from dementia?
We noticed a lot of changes in her personality. She did little things like put cups of tea in the microwave and forget that they were there. She would go down the street to buy milk and come back with bread or detergent or something that she didn't intentionally go down the street for. When she was in the car, she would often take a lot longer to go places because she'd forget where she was going, or she'd forget the usual route that she would take.
So what challenges have you faced when, you know, getting her dressed and getting ready or having a shower?
So in the beginning, the first kind of sign of challenges getting dressed were that she would come out and she'd have a t-shirt or a top on back to front or inside out. Gradually, I would assist her in laying out her clothes, or I would give her her jeans to put on, and I would sort of lend her a hand, and she was still able to do it herself. And then moving on from there, it got to the point where we had to, and now have to, completely dress her because she can no longer do it herself. The biggest challenge we have now is that she doesn't even realize what we are doing, and I will try and take her top off, and I would try and take her top off, but I couldn't because she'd have her arms out like this, and she'd go, oh, it's cold, and it's really hard to get her top off, and it's really hard to put her pants on or take her pants off because you're physically having to maneuver their arms and legs. So items of clothing to avoid are belt buckles, shoelaces, and buttons. There's buttons on there, you can't really see them. Items of clothing that make the process easier are things with zips, so like hoodies, pants with elastic, so anything like a track pant, or you can get nice trousers that have elastic, and Velcro.
So what are some of the challenges you have to face when she's in need to go to the bathroom or to the toilet, showering, all that sort of stuff? What do you do?
Early on, Mum would indicate that she needed to go to the bathroom, so I would go with her, and I would usually just be there as support. The main thing that I would do is just sort of help her and shut the door and get her toilet paper and give her the toilet paper so that she would remember what to do. But then eventually, as time went on and she got worse, I would have to assist her with her pants, assist with sitting her down on the seat, and then get her the paper, and then eventually do that side of the business for her. Now, unfortunately, she's in the final stage of dementia, so she wears the adequate apparel that you need when you lose the connection from your brain to your bladder. Unfortunately, your brain no longer tells your bladder that you need to go, so therefore you don't think, okay, I better go and sit on the toilet and do my business. Unfortunately, they lose that ability to know when that's going to happen, or know that they've done it at all. You can find all of the required underwear and things like that on eBay or anything like that. You can also get mats for your bed that you can lay in your bed that will absorb any liquid, and they just sort of protect your sheets and your mattress. Saves you from having to change your sheets every single night or anything like that. All of that stuff can be found on eBay.
And I will put in a link in my description for you guys if you have any friends, family members that are in those stages of dementia. Like, you can just check those out. So when using a knife and fork when eating, that becomes a struggle, doesn't it? What's there that we can do to fix it or help out?
Yeah.
For them?
So eating any handheld foods are great. They become much easier for the person to just pick up and eat, as opposed to having to use utensils or just go down to one utensil.
So can you give us some examples of what the easiest types of foods that they can eat?
So toast is great. Mum loves toast and it's easy to pick up and eat. So toasties, like ham and cheese, tomato toasties, anything, or a sandwich just in general, because they're easy to pick up and eat.
Yeah.
Chips, she loves chips. And when you get to the later stages of dementia, eating a lot of carbohydrates is not a bad thing, because they lose a lot of weight, they lose their appetite, and so you really need to encourage the eating, because again, the connection from the brain to the stomach will no longer be there, so they won't be able to tell you that they're hungry. Soup in a mug is really good, because you can eliminate the spoon, and then that way they can just sip from the mug, which is fantastic. That's easy for them to do. And if you make a soup with lots of veggies, then they're at least getting those nutrients as well.
Can you give us examples of foods to avoid?
So tricky foods would be things like spaghetti. Whole pieces of fruit are tricky to eat. You want to have larger pieces of things that are almost bite-sized, but easy to pick up with your hand or easy to get with a fork.
So can you tell me what the effect they have on like loud music or them watching TV? How do they react to that?
So I noticed really early on that Mum, her reaction to television was kind of odd. She would wave back when people waved on TV. But then now, in the later years, if we watch scary things.
Scary things or like violent type of movies, action movies.
She gets distressed.
Yeah. She feels as she's in it, not...
Yes.
She feels like it's real, so...
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
She does. She feels like... And if anyone's yelling on TV, she feels like they're yelling at her. And so she gets really distressed by that, and it really affects her. In terms of loud noises, in general, if we go to a cafe, just anywhere really that's loud, restaurant that's loud.
Shopping centre.
So we now avoid that altogether. But even at home, if you put down a cup with the tiniest little bit of force, it may not even, to us, it might not be a loud noise, but she will jump. And so you really need to watch the tone of voice that you use and watch banging of doors and things like that, because that's distressing as well.
Yes. Can you tell me why caffeine can affect, people that have dementia?
So the reason that caffeine has an effect on dementia is because that it ties in with sleep. We need to get an adequate amount of sleep through the night, because when we are in a deep sleep, there is a chemical that goes through our brain and it flushes any toxins or anything like that that are in our brain, and it kind of resets the brain for the next. If you drink a lot of caffeine, so whether that be Coca-Cola or coffee or anything that has the slightest bit of caffeine in it, it stays on your brain for a really long period of time. For example, if you had a caffeinated drink at midday, it would still be on your brain at midnight that night. So therefore, if you're having a drink that has caffeine in it at 4 p.m, you've still got caffeine on the brain at 4 a.m. Therefore, you're not going into a deep sleep, which means that that chemical that needs to flush through your brain, it can't do its job.
Can you tell me a bit about how her sleep is affected by this?
So some nights she won't sleep at all. She might fall asleep at around 6 a.m. And then that was an issue probably about 12 months, 18 months ago. Now it's the opposite. She sleeps a lot. So she can sleep from 8 p.m. through to 2 p.m. the next day. We've been told don't be too alarmed by that. That's pretty common in the later years of dementia.
So how does spatial awareness and walking around affect people that are diagnosed with dementia?
So we were told by specialists that spatial awareness, what happens is their peripheral vision, it's almost as if it gets tunneled. So it's kind of like this, and you can't really see as much as you used to be able to. And so things like going downstairs or going upstairs, they become extremely difficult. Mum takes ages, doesn't she, to go
we
up
always
and
like
downstairs.
hold her hand when we're walking around places, like just going for a stroll. We have always like have some sort of like we're always like with her. As well as needing assistance walking downstairs and just walking in general. She's very slow, so she's become over the years slower and slower, and that's because of her eyesight and her spatial awareness, that she's very hesitant when she takes every step, and that's what makes them incredibly they become a lot slower in their movements. So can you tell me how her social awareness has changed over the years?
She says things now that she never would have said many years ago. Things more specifically, like she swears a lot now, and she she never used to swear.
That's so weird.
Like never. And she would say things that she probably thought in the past but wouldn't say. So I mean, as human beings, we always might think something and not say it because we know that it's not the right thing to say. She now says those things. For example, there was a woman in a cafe once, and she had a dress on, and it was a long dress. But my mum said, and this woman was very close to our table, and she said, "Oh, that's a hideous dress." And so things like that, things that you shouldn't say, she says.
So what type of tone would you use to communicate to people that have dementia?
So I have found that it's really effective to talk to mum in a quieter tone, especially if you're trying to get her to do something, and in an encouraging tone. So telling her that she's done a good job, and really supporting her, and not being aggressive or loud or dominating with my instruction. If I'm trying to, especially if I was trying to help her sit down on a toilet, I would say, sit down, sit down. I wouldn't be like, sit down, sit down. It wouldn't be effective if you yell essentially at the person, because you're not getting the message across. And it's hard enough to get the message across. So if you have a softer approach, not only in your tone but in your body language and how you care for the person and you communicate with the person, you get a much better response from them, and you can see that they feel more comfortable. How does music affect people that are suffering with dementia?
So whenever I go to see Auntie Tina, like as a family, we always like put music on, like songs that she really likes. She likes like the boppy music and stuff like that, and we put it on, and she's always like little, we get up with her and like dance with her, and just it lights up the room, like she's got a big smile on her face and all that sort of stuff. Like it's really good to see her like being so happy. I feel like music and dancing makes them feel happy, and like they don't have to worry about all the things that they've been through, and
it has a huge impact on the brain, music. I recently read that the reason that is because the part of the brain that retains music or song lyrics that we know, or tunes and things like that, it's actually the last part of the brain to go disintegrate essentially. So that's why it's such a powerful part of the brain.
That's all what we've got today for this video. I hope this helped you, you know, if you've got friends, family members, or anyone that you know of that may be suffering from dementia, that this little video will help you, you know, some tips and tricks, and you know, how you may, like how you can get through type of situation. It's, you know, it's not a easy situation to be in. It's, you know,
yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah. It's a journey.
Yeah, it is.
And we've been on it for a long time.
Yeah, we are. I'll leave some links in the description below for you to check out some more information about dementia, and also to check out Dementia Australia. They've got heaps of information and tricks and all that sort of stuff. You can also donate some money to that foundation, which would be really great, as it is Dementia Awareness Month in September, so that would be awesome.
Also, if you are living a dementia journey with a loved one, and you do need to seek support or help, don't be afraid to, because there is a lot of support out there. Dementia Australia do provide counselling and all of that kind of thing, and it is a really tough challenge to go through. We know firsthand, we're living it, so don't be afraid to reach out.
So I hope you've enjoyed this video and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We'll see you in the next video. Catch you later.